capture this. All right, stand by. Here we go. Hey, we are live. Welcome, everybody. It's JL Success Mastermind Friday the 13th. Welcome to our fun Friday the 13th edition. Star, you were just saying, so you just secured new residence.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank
I know
you.
that
It's
was
been a
a big
long,
deal.
long slog. The rental market here in the UK is just awful with COVID and everything. And it has been a long and trying exercise to try and find a new place to live. So we have finally succeeded. And I also found out that my work have given me an award.
While
So
you're not at work.
whilst I'm not at work.
There you go. There you go.
They've obviously missing me so much.
That's great. So if you
an
want
award
to,
for absence, was it?
No, they called it the Quality Street Award, which is a type of chocolates over here. But it's to signify my quality work that I produce.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. Great.
Congratulations, Star. So there you go. Maybe that's
I
it.
know.
The less I show up, the better I do. Maybe that's our topic for today. Good times. Welcome, everyone, to Fun Friday. It is the 13th of November. John Lavenia here with Evelyn Melendez and Nikki Adrian Jackson. Good to see you. Corel Star. Sonia is here looking awesome as always. Gail Glenn. Alexandria. Good to see you. Bill, John, Nicola, our favorite group meditation leader. Neil and Jane both are here. Mandy, of course. And my screen just changed. Everybody's jumping on now. Good to see Kim and Carlene, Sandy, Nancy, Mark, Evelyn, the other Evelyn Smith. Cyril, of course, is here. Susie, Toba, Virginia, and everyone else who I cannot fit on one screen at one time. We're going to have some fun today because it is Fun Friday. So, and you know what? I especially want to welcome, we do have some brand new participants. I don't know if they're on here with us right now, but a big shout out to our new members, people who are just discovering the JL Success Mastermind, fresh and new. Glad you are here. This is something we've been doing for some time. Well, I've been doing for quite a while, not under the auspices of, the flag of JL Success Mastermind, but in various forms throughout the better part of the last 20 years. Why? Why do we do this? We do this because I can't do this alone. That's why, right? I think everyone here would agree with that, right? I mean, if you were an island and you could just go and be successful on your own with no interaction and no support and no people who are also sympathetic with your purposes, well, then I guess you would go do that. And a lot of people attempt that. But I will tell you, and it's a reminder that I get again and again and again and again, that people, like the best mentors, right? And a lot of people consider me their mentor. That's cool. But the best mentors have mentors. The best mentors know that they too have not arrived, right? And that we all could use an objective view, a third party, again, sympathetic with our purposes, not antagonistic, okay, but a third party view of what we're doing and maybe offer some ideas of, hey, did you look at it that way? And that's what we get to experience here in this mastermind group every day, multiple times a day. We've already done this. This is our second broadcast for today. We had our first one at 5:00 this morning, my time, with the amazing and extra amazing Ego Obi, one of our published authors here in the group, one of our mentors. And she does our tech talk on Friday, early mornings, middle of the day for you guys across the pond in the UK. And what else do we have going on today? We've got integrative nutrition. That's a pretty good thing to know about, especially in the face of global pandemics and all the stuff that goes on around that, to make sure that you're feeling unsure of yourself and scared and everything else. Well, how about we get a little bit unscared and we be a bit proactive and accept the responsibility for our health, right? And integrate some good, thinking and eating, right? So integrative nutrition with our expert in that field, Therese Macelis. That's going to be coming up today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. And then, of course, we wrap up at 6 p.m. today. We have an early end to the week because, Friday night, it's Miller time. People are going to go do their thing. And so at 6 p.m., we're going to be heard, including especially our newer members who may not feel as, comfortable yet sharing in a larger group setting. So we just have a small group there. Well, sometimes it can get, pretty big as well, but we share some ideas and about where we'd like to go with this group and things we'd like to discuss and questions that you'd like answered. So that's again at 6 p.m. Eastern. Now, if you're seeing this on YouTube or Facebook, feel free to keep hanging out, right? We've got the free live stream of our general sessions, but to get access to all this other goodness, and there's a ton of it, we got a huge calendar full of great stuff. You just want to go ahead and grab a membership. You can get 2 weeks free right now at jlsuccessmastermind.com. I would highly recommend you do that before we have to increase our prices, which is imminent. Right now, it's almost free. In fact, the first 2 weeks are free. So I would say go ahead and get that. Now, since it is Fun Friday, we like to start, traditionally, we start with the dogs, cats, rats, geese, any livestock you've got in your midst. By the way that all started is because I instituted a policy that if a dog barks while your microphone is unmuted, you must present the dog so that we can all enjoy the dog. Okay. So that sort of came out of a disciplinary action, but we've enjoyed it so much. And now I think we've all met each other's pets. But does anyone have a dog or a cat that they want to put on screen here real quick? Go ahead and unmute your mic and make some noise so your camera goes live, and we can do that. And as is tradition, if you've got a joke, please go ahead and do that as well. We could all use a bit of lightheartedness. John, you've got your mic open. John, who you got there with you?
I got Race.
Oh, look at Race. And what kind of dog is that?
Race is a Wheaten Terrier.
Wow. Now, question.
Soft-coated Wheaten Terrier.
Is this the grooming natural, or did you trim under the eyes, or how does that show up?
No, that's the way they come.
Wow.
So it's what they call their fall.
Wow. Look at that beard. That would make Santa Claus jealous. Look at that beard. My goodness. Thank you.
His full name is Champion Life in the Fast Lane.
Wow. Good stuff. Yeah, and for those who don't know, John Apogee, he is a lot of experience in the racing space. So automotive racing. Was it more drag racing or NASCAR, like circle track, or
road racing and rallying actually was where I spent most of my time.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, you've got a fellow race fan right here. More of the straight line, 3.5 seconds, total destruction, done.
Yep.
Right?
Did quite a bit of that, as we discussed.
Yeah, good times. Thank you, John. Thanks for introducing us to race. I see Gail's got her mic open. Gail, what's going on with you?
I have a little joke. I saw it somewhere on Facebook, and so I took a picture of it. I'm not a good joke teller, but
Okay.
it's also about somebody, the Dr. Spock, not Doctor, what do you call that? The Star Trek. And I'm not I don't know who these characters are. One's with a bald head and then something else. So anyway, this is, I don't know if you can see the pictures. He's saying, I'm reading a book about anti-gravity. And the other one says, is it any good? And he says, I can't put it down. And that's the joke.
Very good.
I don't know who these people are, but
Glenn, who are these?
So Glenn, you would know.
Yeah,
The
Glenn,
balding gentleman is Captain Jean-Luc Picard, commander of the USS Enterprise, and the younger gentleman with the beard is Commander William T. Riker, his first officer, and affectionately referred to as Picard's number one.
Thank you.
So that's the second generation of Star Trek, right? Because, of course, Captain Kirk and his first officer was Mr. Spock.
Yes, that show that you referenced, Gail, is called Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Good times. So despite the fact that the original Star Trek cast aged out, or the ratings went down far enough that they were discontinued, they rebirthed it. And now I think they've had a few reboots, which, Glenn, I don't know your opinion on that, if they're going up or going down, but.
It's on
How much time you got, John?
Okay. It's on TV. All right, very good. So, we don't have that much time for that. Any other dogs, cats, jokes? Come on down.
I got a joke.
All right,
John.
Mr. Lieutenant Colonel Mark Riggle.
Where does a mountain climber keep his airplane?
I don't know.
In the cliffhanger.
In the cliffhanger. There you go. Mountain climber, cliffhanger, plane. That's great. Thank you, Mark. By the way, I had to look up a word yesterday after your general session that you hosted. You mentioned sortie, right? The word sortie. I was like, what the hell is a sortie? So I had to look it up. By the way, that's a good thing for everyone to do. If you ever hear somebody talking or you're reading a book and you don't understand what the hell is that word, grab the best self-help book ever written. It's called The Dictionary, and look it up. Now I know what a sortie is, and it's got 3 different definitions, and it comes from Old French, sortire, which means to go. So there's that.
I've
Thank
got
you. Thank you, Mark.
got-
Adrian?
yeah. It's I'm wondering why the baseball was coming towards me until it hit me.
It hit you. Now you know why. Okay.
I've
Thank
got a
you.
David
joke.
Dixon had a joke, John.
David has a joke, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I've got a joke. Internationally renowned playwright walked into a bar. The landlord said, "William Shakespeare, you're barred."
Oh.
There you
Hey,
go.
John, I actually have a little bad news.
Oh, hold on. We got Coral up next.
Oh,
Hey, Coral.
go.
Okay. So this is a classic Tommy Cooper gag, and Tommy Cooper is a well-loved comedian here in UK. He said, I said to the gym teacher, "Can you teach me to do the splits?" He said, "How flexible are you?" I said,
Hey.
"Oh, I can't make Tuesdays."
Oh, okay. Very good. Thank you, Coral. Glenn.
Yeah, John. So it's actually kind of bad news. I don't know if any of you saw the headline about the terrible news about the kidnapping at the elementary school.
No.
Did you hear about this?
No.
No, it's all right. It worked out okay. He woke up.
Oh, okay. The kidnapping versus kidnapping. Very good.
You see what I did there?
All right. All this good rated G humor. Thank you guys. And including and especially David. We love you, man. Glad you're here. You know what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do right now? We're going to have a conversation. That's what we're going to do. And the idea that came up for me today as I was considering how are we going to end our week? This very interesting week that many people have experienced from a lot of different angles. And an idea came up for me, and that was that production is the basis of morale. So I want you to think about this. I had a, well, first of all, let me say this. If I seem up to you, it's because I am up, right? If I seem, I'm sorry, I'm seeing Glenn's mouth moving. I think Glenn may be, he's in a virtual convention right now. That's why I'm seeing Glenn's mouth moving, but not hearing anything. But if I think about how I operate throughout my week and how I start my day, I know we've talked about, in fact, we started this week talking about our daily method of operation, right? We start with hopefully we do a bit of quiet time. So I did that today, right? We could do a bit of study, right? Put in some good thinking, right? Read a few pages of a book, read a chapter, do something. Right now I'm into Glenn, who you just saw here, Glenn's first book, which is about to be published. Everything he learned about success, he learned from Star Trek, right? So that's fun. Because there's a lot of metaphors in there, right? There's a lot of things you could say, oh, look what they just did, or how they just, sort of demonstrated a principle, which I can now use in my life. I may not be, boldly going where no man has gone before, although I guess that's open for debate, right? So we put in a bit of some good ideas. We do some exercise, right? We get the body moving, get the endorphins going, right? That's a productive thing to do. And then what was the fourth thing we talked about was doing what you want to do least, do that first, right? So in terms of business action, some sort of productivity, to take something to a done before the other things of the day impinge on you. In fact, I would say do all those things before the other items of the day impinge on you. So if I seem up, it's because I'm taking right action. If you want good self-esteem, well, do esteemable things, right? Just give yourself a command and follow it. And so like today, I started my day with some quiet time. I did a little bit of study. I was about to go to the gym. And in this case, I need to still get some exercise because I had my daughter getting ready for school and my wife preparing her food and stuff. And then, Shannon is recovering from major surgery. And so I didn't get to the gym as early as I wanted to. And then I had a client who, based on time zones and such, we agreed that we would meet at this certain time. And so I started my day with making money, right? So close that deal, sold, done. Nice. Good to start your day with hundreds and hundreds of dollars in your pocket. That's a nice way to start the day, right? So now, did I want to necessarily adjust my schedule or whatever? No, but I had pre-planned. So I wasn't in crisis management. I knew that there was a couple things I would need to be flexible on, and there was also a definite action coming at a specific time, which would be a productive action, whether I won the sale or not. Okay, and I suspected that I would. In fact, those of you who didn't tune in to our special event last night, we did Sales Mastery Part 2 with yours truly. You'll find that in the recorded section under special events. Okay, we're going to have to do a Part 3 as well because there's just so many people are interested in this topic. So, and it's what I've been doing for a long time. So I can talk very easily about that. So we'll do another session on that. It's not on the calendar yet, but stay tuned. Anyway, so what's the point? Back to my original idea is that production is the basis of morale. If we have things that impinge on our attention throughout the day, throughout the week, that are, let's say, negative, right? Or that would not induce production. That would not be something that we can either have cause over, that we can participate, we can have some sort of responsibility or get a result with. In other words, if we're allowing ourselves to be consistently impinged on by things that cause us to think that we're just the effect, that we're not the cause, what does that do to our morale? You know, psychologists, which don't agree on much, but they do agree for the most part on the idea that the more someone feels like they've got control, some degree of self-determinism in their life, to that degree that they experience peace of mind. So control and peace of mind can go together. Now we've brought up in these sessions before, we've brought up Reinhold Lieber's so-called serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So let's look at the first part, serenity. What is that? Peace of mind, calmness of mind, soundness of mind. That sounds good, right? I like to be sane and, you know, calm and all that. So to accept the things I cannot change. In other words, to recognize my responsibility in this particular field or this thing that I cannot change, my responsibility is that I'm not responsible for that. So part of being responsible is knowing what we're not responsible for. Let me go ahead and accept and maintain some serenity, because now I'm not reaching or attempting to reach futilely into my field of concern, which is not my field of influence. As the late Steve Covey talked about in his 7 Habits book, we've got a circle of concern and a circle of influence. Typically, the circle of influence is smaller than the circle of concern. Okay, so how can we have these concerns? They're real, right? But if we can't affect change in those areas yet, right? Well, how do we expand into those areas? By focusing on our circle of influence where we can have an effect, and then getting more powerful, and then branching out into areas that currently we cannot have an effect in. I'll give you another tip on that, is that a lot of times the things that impinge on us, that I'll speak for myself, that cause me to feel not able, not effective, right? Impotent. Those things are things that I cannot and should not tackle on my own. Back to the idea of a group, a mastermind group, any group of people with commonality of purpose, right? That could be a family. It could be like Glenn with his networking group. It could be your church. It could be your nation, right? So these groups, you see, they're ever expanding groups too. But to try and do everything yourself, oh, that's a rough ride, right? So talking about the individual now, me, right? The serenity to accept the things me, cannot change. Can we change? Yeah, but that's going to be through the enrollment of others into a common cause. Second part, the courage to change the things I can, right? So back to the circle of influence. These are the things that I can affect change in. These are things like, for example, can I go and serve the customer at 9 o'clock in the morning, my time? Yeah, I can. Did the customer get served? Yes. Did a transaction occur? Yes. Do I feel good about that? Yes. Did that require courage? Well, some things require more courage than others. But I'll tell you what, on the scale of courage, right? There's, I suppose, total cowardice and craven avoidance of anything that's even remotely uncomfortable. That would be at the bottom. And then there would be, superhuman examples that we can see, right? You've certainly met people who've demonstrated great courage. We get to hear from Mark, right, who talks about his experience in the United States Marine Corps, right? You don't have an effect in that environment without demonstrating some courage, having developed some of that for yourself so that you can have an effect, right? Yes, you're going to have an effect on the enemy. That's the whole point. Have an effect, but don't receive the effect, right? Be effective. Don't receive the effect. You be cause, right? So that requires a bit of courage. And so you can think of what you do in your own life, right? Let's say, for example, just standing up and getting out of your own way. You know, I had a friend who said most people are like giants who are drowning in 3 feet of water. Just stand up, or even sit up, do something, right? But it's not going to happen by succumbing and conflating these things you can't have an effect with the things you can have an effect with. We've got to have a point of differentiation where now I've got recognition that yes, I can do something about that. Something can be done about that. In fact, I can do something about that. Now we're working within our circle of influence. So serenity, courage, wisdom to know the difference, right? And I think for myself, that's where, we can look at in 2 different directions. One would be a megalomaniacal approach where, you know, I'm having this illusion of grandeur or something, where I'm going to force my will in directions which are not fruitful or effective, right? And on the other end, right, of not having wisdom, right, I could be self-deprecating to the point where I fail to recognize opportunities and just continue to practice avoidance because I've not developed the self-determinism or the self-confidence that I can have an effect. So you see that the wisdom, I think, would be the recognition of humility. In other words, honest self-appraisal, right? I will, or I can't at this time, or I can't on my own, or not the right move at this time, and or no ability to affect in that area. So I'm going to go ahead and stay in my lane. Wisdom. I think that's the biggest one of all, at least for me, right? The other 2 seem pretty cut and dry. Are you feeling serene? Yes or no, right? Are you acting courageously? Yes or no? Are you making the right choices? Oh, let me think about that one. The wisdom to know the difference. Well, good thing I'm praying, right? Because I'm not exactly sure. And good thing that I've got feedback from other people who could, and my wife helps me with this all the time, right? I've admitted before, you know, there are times where I'll get on this kick where I just want to fight, right? Is that productive? Am I actually having an effect, a pleasing effect, something that's going to benefit myself and mankind, right? And when I say fight, I don't mean get out, you know, clench fists, right? Although there are some people, you know, in our society who just want to devolve into that. But no, like an intellectual fight, which quite often for the person who has, you know, good intent and also good personal restraint could just lead to a lot of inner conflict, right? Now, is that productive? Does that lead to morale? If production is the basis of morale, then it all comes down to the question again of like, as demonstrated in the Serenity Prayer, how can I have the most effect for the most people in the least amount of time? In other words, how can I do the most good within my circle of influence, which can also leak out into my circle of concern right now, and not put it off later, right? And not look sideways, right? And to get, in other words, to get a pleasing result, to get numbers on the board, to get on the board of life, right? That's what we talk about in sales, right? You're on the board. I remember back when I was in the car business, we had this it was one of these places I worked in. There was this big glass wall, and there was, if you can imagine, there's the sales floor, and there's all the salespeople, and they're working deals with customers, and there's cars and everything else, and then you go up a few stairs into this enclosed glass box where there's desks and there's managers and there's computers all over the place, and they're doing mathematics, and they're pulling up invoices and calling banks and doing all this stuff to solve the customer's problem. They've got a transportation problem, right? They need a car. We're going to solve their problem today. But then one of the glass walls had this chart on it, and it had every time you know a car was sold, they would take the grease marker, dry erase marker, and they would write on the glass wall so everyone could see, right? I've seen in some sales environments like this, I've seen where they ring the bell, right? Bob Smith just bought the pickup truck, right? Ding, ding, yay, Yay, Bob, right? So that is what? That is a celebration and a demonstration of we're having an effect. Look, Bob just got the truck that he wanted. And look, it was Sally, who's on the board 3 times this week. Sally. So again, the morale of that, right? We celebrate success, and that brings up not just Sally's morale, but look, I'm in the environment, I'm in the midst of success, of production. I'm in the right place. What does that do? Think about that. If you're in an environment where people are productive and happy and moving forward and having fun and putting their, sales on the board of life, right? What does that do for you? How valuable is it to be in that sort of environment? Counter that with the nonstop impingement with what I would say the merchants of chaos, right? The people who would gladly convince you and everyone else that you cannot have an effect. You are effect. You see, the whole purpose of this group, the reason why I even started this is to rehabilitate causation and the acknowledgement of causation in the lives and in the minds of people who are amazingly powerful. And to whatever degree we've forgotten. I'll speak for myself. Right? I need reminders all the time. I need reminders, right? I think it was Glenn this week in one of our sessions mentioned a quote about our fear is not that we're weak. Our fear is that we're powerful beyond our own recognition. Oh my goodness, look at how effective I could actually be. That's like, handing out, powerful weapons. Do I dare use the weapon, right? Will I use it right? Well, a great question. Again, it brings us back to the idea of personal responsibility and ethics. And I'm very excited to hear, I know we've got a special session or something that's going to be coming up with our friend Ego, who's going to be talking about, and I'm kind of railroading you into this right now, Ego. I don't see you on here with us live right now, but you did mention it, and now we're all very interested. The ethics of artificial intelligence. That's a great consideration. Is this even ethical, right? Have machines do our thinking for us? I guess we can go watch movies about, Terminators and stuff. I mean, that's one possibility. Right now, that's science fiction, or is it? Right. So think about that. Even that one consideration right there, right? If you on your own volition do some research and come up with answers that can move you forward in your life, is that productive? Yes, it is. Does that boost your morale, your self-confidence, your knowingness? Yes, it does. Is that more? It's not more expedient than just asking Siri what she thinks. It's not more expedient, okay? But it's definitely more morale boosting. So anything that we put on autopilot, we relinquish control of. You get in your car, you put it on cruise control. You just said, car, you control the speed of this vehicle. You do it. You just gave up control. Some things can and should be put on autopilot, especially in business, right? Can we automate some systems? Yeah. But can we automate ourselves right out of our own business? I would argue no. There's got to be someone at the helm steering the ship. There's got to be someone originating the communication. There's got to be someone telling the automated systems what to do. And I think that's where certainly I draw the line, right? So on that idea of, artificial intelligence. Okay, so where I look at where I can go, and I'm a little bit afield of where I'm at now, where I started from, but in terms of production, right? My own personal production, can I automate that? Can I get more wheat out of the crop because I used machinery? Yes. Is that good and right? Yes, I would argue yes, that is. Okay, but understand that's a very, very different internal conversation than can I do no work and get rich? I had a guy just yesterday, a potential client that I was talking to, which sort of prompted our conversation today. And this guy was he was in rough shape. I wound up spending a lot of time with him, more than I normally would, just over the phone, counseling him a bit, because he had allowed his life to go so down the spiral where he was desperate. I know some of us have experienced desperation from time to time in our lives, and I have, right? So I'm speaking from experience, and so I thought it would be, a good and right thing for me to do even though my role in that conversation was to induce a transaction, it was not appropriate at that time for this person. So I just counseled them and reminded them to the best of my ability that something can be done about it. In fact, yes, you, sir, can do something about it right now, even if it's small incremental steps forward back into right thinking and right action. Production is the basis of morale, which right now you're not experiencing much of. So what can you do right now that you haven't done that would give you something that would put a sail on the board, so to speak, right? That would give you a win. People need wins. I've kind of gone around in a whole circle with this, but in my just experience in the last 12 to 24 hours, talking with someone who was in total desperation, I wouldn't say total, right? He had a phone, it worked, we were able to talk, right? He had internet access, but he had a dark outlook, right? So compare that with what we just heard from Star, right? Who's also had challenges and who just overcame them and who's getting recognized and promoted and everything else, even though she's not even showing up at work right now. She laid some groundwork, right? Did she have an effect? Yeah, how right she had an effect, right? Look at that smile on her face. So think about that. Think about that spectrum. And if you can't relate to it, then just look into your own life and look at the lives of other people who you associate with, whether it's here in this group or whether it's YouTube videos you're watching or idiots on social media who want to shove their opinions down your throat or whatever, right? Look at it. Just look, objectively look and see, how does that make me feel when I interact with that person? Right? Good question. And then how does it make me feel when I take these habitual actions? Yes, habits, when I take these habitual actions, which are or are not bearing fruit. Let's take inventory. Let's do that, right? And if there's something we can do, because you need some wins right now, well, what can you win with right now? Right? And I'm speaking expeditiously, right? What is something you could do right now? And I know we've talked about this again and again, that you could take to a done and check it off and feel better about yourself, right? Production, produce something. Henry Ford said there is joy in work, right? One is happy when they recognize that they have accomplished something. So let's work unapologetically. Let's do it. And then what? Then we've set an example, not only for ourselves, not only is our morale up, but just like in that sales environment where people applauded because Sally put the numbers on the board, right? I'm in the right spot. People are inspired by your demonstration. I've often said, you could either be part of the problem or part of the solution. I choose to be part of the solution. Hopefully more often than I choose to be part of the problem. You see, I'm responsible for that too. The wisdom to know the difference. That's what I'm working on today. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. I'd love to assert to you how wise I am, although I think that would be a bit presumptuous. Who would like to speak? Excuse me. We'll go ahead and do the hand raising thing. And Star is our first contestant.
Hi, just to thank you. It's so nice to be on this side. I feel like I've been in such a hole for so long, and I've spoken every day this week, but it's to make up for the 3 weeks I wasn't here. But also just to let you know, Ego sends her love. She sent me a message and she's on a work call and sends her love to everybody. And yeah, happy Friday the 13th. Woohoo.
Yay. Yeah, Ego's traveling right now. She's not even in England, right? She's in Arabia somewhere, I think. Thank you, Star, and hello, Ego. We love you. Therese, our integrative nutrition expert extraordinaire, you are next.
Hello, thank you for such a lovely plug there. I haven't spoken up for a little while. I took that break, and I feel like it just took me this week to get back into sync with everyone, and it's been wonderful just to listen all week long and be lifted up. And today's topic, of course, is like everyone before it, every other one before it, uplifting, moving, and a wonderful daily action to create production and happiness, really. I mean, I don't know why I feel emotional today, but I do. And I just have to say that, I don't know, my life is transformed. And, I thought I was in a really great place, even though I'd had some knocks and was struggling a bit and wasn't exactly where I wanted to be, but I kind of felt like I had some things figured out. And this is just the most powerful experience ever. So thank you, John, and thank you everyone in the group, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Teresa, are we doing integrative nutrition today? And what is your topic?
We are going to today, and I'm kind of vacillating between vitamins and minerals and or toxic substances in our food additives. So I'm trying to decide which one to do, and I'll know in another hour or so which one. They're both really interesting, and I think, of course, the goal is for everyone to just maybe pick a little nugget of information along the way that helps steer them in a direction for healthier choices. So
fantastic. And if you've got an opinion you'd like to steer Teresa in one direction or another, go ahead and put it in the chat. Oh, vitamins is our first vote. There you go. I know. I love it when people say, "Hey, I got questions about that." Oh, well, thank you. You just gave me my topic. You just gave me my material, right? Otherwise, I'll have to invent one. Thank you, Therese. Always good to see you. Yeah. So we've got, who is next? Nobody's next. We're done. All right. Are we done? Are we going to continue? Oh, there's Nancy. Go ahead and get your hands up, guys. We got Nancy coming out here next, and then Virginia. Hey, Nancy.
Hey, good to see everybody. Happy Friday the 13th. I don't have a win yet, but I will share that the win is how I'm coping with an unexpected bill that came my way that is way larger than I could possibly have imagined. In fact, the amount of money that I'm being asked to pay right now is the amount of money that I've been affirming. So it's really bizarre. I'm wrapping my head around that one. So I've had my head in the sand for a couple of days. So today, and I needed that because I had a really hard day on Wednesday. Yesterday was better. Today it's like, okay, now I'm going to handle it. So I've been avoiding looking at how I can get this thing solved. And today that's first on my list once I get off the call with you guys. But yeah, I think overall the win, as I said earlier, is how I am coping with this challenge. Before, this would have just leveled me, like I'm done, and now it's like, okay, it's a challenge. I can get through it. I know there's something on the other side. We have Star as a perfect example of that and so many others that have shared. So that's where I'm at, John.
So you received a communication.
Correct.
All right. Right. So actually, that's not even an expense. That's just a communication. An expense is when the money actually leaves your hand and goes into theirs. Okay. So you got basically a sales letter, right? Hey, we would like for you to give us money. If you can look at it that way, whether it's a tax bill or whatever, sort of communication, if you can keep it in present time, here's a communication that I've received, right? And you can communicate back, right? Communication goes two ways. Does that mean that you need to invent money right now out of thin air? No, it's not even an expense until you've actually paid it. So just looking at the time frame of this, right? And then coincidentally, the same amount of money you're postulating is coming my way, you were just asked for, right? So what does that mean? That means that number is significant, but in a way that now you get to double it because the way out is the way through. So I'm thinking, Nancy, you're raising your standards now, not only to handle these prior obligations, which as a person of integrity, you naturally will, right? That's happening as a matter of course, but that is happening en route to, here's the goal, here's the ideal, right? So, and this is similar, certainly not the same conversation I had with the guy who was in desperation yesterday, but this is similar to that conversation in the way that when we take losses in life, and who hasn't, right? And if we accumulate those losses and identify as the loser, right, then we go on this downward spiral. What we've got to do is rehabilitate our standards, right? Rehabilitate our standards, raise those standards. And a lot of times when I talk with people, thank you for letting me park on this and lean on you a bit, Nancy. A lot of times when I talk to people about goals and goal setting and goal achievement, they say, well, I don't want to limit myself. Right? I'm not greedy. Whoa. We're not building the ceiling. We're building the floor. These are our standards, not our limits. Our standards. I refuse to show up. If I can't make at least $20,000 a month in that business, not worth my time, right? There's an opportunity cost to everything, right? And can we find multiple ways to reach that goal? multiple ways of being productive and thereby raising our morale. This one may not have caught fire yet, but oh, look at this one here. So my consideration for you, Nancy, is what can we, because you're not alone, what can we do to help you exceed those standards, which apparently just doubled because now you receive this communication telling you you were off by 50%. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really different way of looking at things, John, especially that very first thing you said, which is like, look at it as a communication. It's not like, because when I see it, it's like, oh my God, it's got to go out of the bank like now. Like, no, that gives me a little bit of breathing space and to strategize. And also, I will share one thing that this happened to me earlier this year where I got this really big bill from this attorney, and I asked for him to reduce it. And I was very clear about what I wanted. And he did, by the way. That thing went down from $1,200 to $400 from me because I asked and I stood on top of that thing. So there you go. So thank you. I feel like the mojo's better now. So yes, that's because of you guys. Honest to God, it's because of you guys. Thank you so much.
So you reciprocated. So you sent communication, and that gained you a 66% reduction. Nice.
Correct.
Not a bad letter. It's a good sales letter you wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just look at it all like it's just sales letters, right? You owe this. Oh, I would like to only owe that. Oh, okay, you can only owe that then. Okay, thank you. Right?
Yeah. Right. It's like dealing with the IRS, right? Offering compromise.
Right.
Same thing. So
oh well, that's a can of worms. That's a racket right there.
That is a can of worms. We won't go there. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
My pleasure. Hey, where's Virginia Pipitone, my friend Virginia?
Hi, how you doing?
We're
so,
great. I can't see you.
I'm-
There you are.
Here I am. So, I'm kind of gonna try not to ramble, but I feel like the very first part of your discussion, John, we talked about, and my brain is scattered, so I can't even quote you correctly, but about being motivated by what you do and being fulfilled by what you do. And so I am a nurse who does home health care for people who were former Department of Energy Cold War patriots. They built our nuclear weapons. Okay. And as a result of that, their exposure to asbestos and radiation and all kinds of things, now that they're in their 70s, 80s, and even 90 years old, they have cancers as a result. They have a lot of respiratory issues from their breathing, uranium miners too. So anyway, I'm telling you that because my patients are at high risk. So I'm at a house on Wednesday, and I'm going to be turning this guy over to another case manager. So the case manager's there. We're all wearing our masks. We're all doing our COVID precautions. We're, washing our hands. We're trying to keep as far away from him, but you do have to do a physical exam. And as it turns out, her and I talked in the parking lot, the driveway, a little bit afterwards, and she'd had this coughing fit, this horrible coughing fit just before we were done. She was dry. She, you get that hot, warm feeling. So she also does other clients that we have in a different program, and she gets routinely tested for COVID every 2 weeks. So the gentleman called me after the visit and said, I'm a little concerned. Are you sure she doesn't have COVID? Blah, blah, blah. And I, addressed all of those issues for him and counseled him on what to do. So that was Wednesday. So Thursday, she gets tested. So every 2 weeks, she comes back positive. So now, and I'm laughing, but it's not funny. I'm laughing. I find out at the end of the day, she did a rapid test, she comes back positive. So now I've been exposed. I went yesterday with another case manager, opened up a new case. So now potentially they have been exposed, even though we are wearing masks. I'm home today. Where normally I'm not on the Friday call because I have 3 clients. So we canceled everybody just to be on the safe side. And I'm waiting for a doctor's telehealth appointment at 1:40 to see when I'll go get tested, which probably won't be till Monday or Tuesday to give it time to incubate if it is in me or not. But the part of the reason I'm telling you this is because I'm like, oh, what a blessing in disguise. I can stay home and work on finishing my cookbook. That I'm trying to get out by Sunday. Yay! All right. Well, guess what? I have too much work anyway that would have been on my desk. administrative work for my position, my day job. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I just want to do my entrepreneurial business. I just want to be doing what brings me joy. And so more and more, it's becoming more evident to me, and I already know this, that I just want to let that day job go. Unfortunately, it's a small staff that is running this Utah, Colorado big territory. We're short on nurses. I mean, it would really cripple them if I left at this time. So I've got that moral aspect of me trying to at least help them out by till the end of the year, first part of next year. But I'm so over it in my heart of hearts. I mean, I love my clients, they're good people. I love the company, but it's not what brings me joy anymore, and it's not what's going to move me towards retirement. I mean, I'm old. I want to retire. I want to have my passive income and do what brings me joy. And Nancy, I want to share with you and with everyone that trying to refocus on the law of attraction and attracting into my life the positivity. Thinking about Ego's 50,000 pounds quiz, whatever, that just landed in her lap, and stars, achievements, and everyone who we just all of a sudden attracted things into our life. So I got $1,000 bonus that I wasn't sure if it was going to come through or not. Yay. And through my job. And I also had $300 just kind of randomly show up in my checking account. I'm like, okay, I like that. I know where it's coming from. I wasn't expecting that either. So I've got, this extra 1,300 because my cookie book, actually, I've had it professionally edited. I found this great cookbook editor and through canva.com, and spending a lot more on producing the book. So I'm like, okay, but I got this money I wasn't expecting, so I have more than enough to get this into a quality product so that it has a positive launch, has good feedback, it's ready to go type thing. So that's just kind of where I am, that mixed blessings, I'm at home, but I'm not able to do everything that I want to do on my own business today as I would like to.
Well, thank you, Virginia. And it sounds like you're doing important work, and that you're also looking to transition out of that work. And that transition could be sudden or it could be gradual. I like the idea of, building momentum with another opportunity and then choosing whether or not to maintain this one, which right now just gave you another $1,000 and you're having wins, right? Obviously it's purposeful because you've got people you're meeting with and they've got needs and wants that you're able to help facilitate. So you get my vote in terms of, morals and ethics and integrity, right? That's a beautiful thing. As far as COVID, what is the survival rate of that? 99.982 or something for anyone under age 100?
I've already had it. I'm sure I've already had it in March. I'm going to get tested for antibodies. I just don't know if I could still be a carrier. There's so much that's unknown about it. Can I still transmit it to somebody else, even though it may not affect me? Can you get it again? There's just so much we don't know about all this.
Is that in your sphere of control, though? Back to the Serenity Prayer. Can you have an effect on that? Like, can you consciously will the antibodies to move through the blood? Like, can you do that? I can't, right?
What is in my control is the decision making that I'm going to stay away from my high risk clients. They're fine. Let's keep them that way.
Right.
And I've canceled appointments before. If I wake up with a sore throat or a cough, I'm not coming to your house today because I don't know what's going on, and you're well and you're on oxygen, and I'm going to keep you that way.
Right.
So
great news. We got the internet, Zoom. It's spectacular. And you've got administrative work that's about to get done.
I like that word, done.
I like that. Sign me up, Dan. Thank you, Virginia. You're awesome. We're going to go to Adrian, then Nicola, then Glenn. Hey, Adrian Jackson. What's up, brother? Let's get Adrian.
Hello, everybody. Virginia, you do a fantastic job. My fiance is a nurse, and you all do a fantastic job. And without you, the world wouldn't be as safe as it is now. So you're doing a fantastic job. But I want to tell a story. What happened to me the other day? How I turned a negative day into a positive day. Right. It started off. I woke up and I did my normal chores, and I think I'm gonna have a great day today. So day worked out okay. Get to my first client. He goes, "Oh, I put it was 3 jobs I had to do on this day. So I got my first job. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, but we're not available today. You need to come back this afternoon." I went, "No problem." So then I phoned up my next client and said, "Oh, we're not available. You need to come on Friday." So I went to my third client and I got a call in Bury. So I went up to Bury and I did a printer call, which took me longer than what it's supposed to have, and it took me 3.5 hours instead of an hour. So I get to my car, I got a parking ticket. So I thought to myself, I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm doing my job. And I got to my final job and he was happy. And I got home to my wife and she said, "Have you had a good day?" I said, "Yeah, I've made 3 people happy today. And that's a win-win for me." And that's how I turned a negative day into a positive day, because I made 3 people happy. I repaired their devices, and that's a win-win for me. And the other one I've got is I've sold a few more things. I've opened a shop on eBay, so I've got 2 shops now, and things are steadily building up on them as well. So I'm doing really well, and I just want everybody to continue with what you're doing. And I think we're all doing a brilliant job, and we will all get there. I've not talked for a few days, but I want to talk today because I like talking on Friday, because the weekend's here and we all can have a good laugh. Okay, so keep well, everybody, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, brother. Interested to hear how you do on eBay. It's a very different platform. It's one that's been around a long time, and there's lots of considerations about how to best do eBay. So thank you for sharing, Adrian, Jay, as always. We've got Nicola and Glenn. I think we're going to wrap up with that. Hey, Nicola, you've got the floor.
Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. I just thought I'd share a story this week. I thought this group would probably appreciate where I'm coming from. So a bit of an unexpected turnaround, which has turned into a win today. So partway through the week, I think it was Wednesday night, I thought my Amazon journey had come to an end, a very quick end. So I signed up in May and I still haven't got a product shipped yet. It should have originally left China in September, but just had a lot of problems with the supplier. And I just got to a point, I just got disheartened by the whole thing. And I just thought, maybe this just isn't the route that I need to take. And I got quite down about it. And then I thought, wait a minute, it's out of my control. This is a supplier in China, another one in India had been dealing with. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to ask the universe. I'm going to put it out there, and whatever path I need to take, it will come to me. That was Wednesday night, went to sleep, woke up Thursday morning and had an email from the supplier, which I hadn't heard from them for at least 3 weeks, with all of the final product images, a couple of videos so I could do the inspection. They'd been in touch with the shipping company and they'd booked a shipment in. All I needed to do was inspect and pay for it, and it'll be on a ship on Monday. So I'd done that, and not only that, but a company in India had been dealing with a couple of months ago, but then they doubled their prices because the materials had increased. So I just kind of ruled them out. He'd also emailed me that same morning to say they've managed to source a lower price. Am I still interested? If so, we can get it on a ship in 4 weeks' time. So I thought, well, if that's not ask and you will receive, I don't know what is. So quite unexpected, because I had pretty much closed the door on that. But yeah, turned into a win, and it's now going to be on a ship in a couple of days' time.
Well, congratulations, Nicola. That's great. And then you went and hosted our group meditation get together yesterday as well. So yeah, getting in the flow. It feels good,
Good. It does feel good.
Yeah.
It's a big block that's been there. That's now been unblocked. And actually, I didn't have to do a great deal to unblock it. It was kind of done for me. So it's a nice feeling.
Right. Well, you did maintain your own serenity in the process, right? So there's a philosophical concept of who's actually the doer. So the idea or the affirmation that I am not the doer, right? That I have faith in a greater power, a higher power that does through me, right? But then there's also that consideration, well, what part of this am I forcing now? Or, so lots of, it's a whole different conversation. It's a long one too, but thank you for demonstrating to us what it's like to stay the course, keep a level head. Nicola, thank you for who you are in this community. You're awesome. And as if all that wasn't enough, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Glenn Henderson shall now speak. Glenn.
John, wins, man. You know, I love hearing people talk about wins. It is such a cool thing because the more we celebrate every step as a win, the better we feel about our journey, n'est-ce pas? And so that, for me, has been a big part of the transformation that's been taking place over the last few years. Strangest thing happened to me today, but not today, this week. Here's the thing, though. It was, well, I'll tell you. You know that I've been tied up all week with this conference, this virtual conference that I've been participating in. Somebody asked me, I think in the past, I added it up, in the past 3 days, I think I've had a grand total of about 7 hours sleep. Because this conference is global, so we're working in about 3 or 4 different time zones, you know, so I found myself staying up all night to get the real juicy information and that one tip that I was, and Ivy saying, yeah, welcome to the club, bro, which is cool. And have made all kinds of wonderful connections with people and opportunities and things coming and already in place. And the other thing, but with that, as you know, John, I've been making a commitment the past year to change how I do business from a transactional frame of mind to a relational. And you know, those of you that have been with us on Wednesday nights for Networking Magic, you know something about that. So I've been reaching out and just connecting with people and starting conversations, building relationships, and helping where I can, even if I end up not selling anything, helping, listening, advising when I can, when I'm able, and just made the commitment that my life is about giving to other people, investing, pouring into other people. And so in the middle of this conference, 7 hours sleep over 3 days, I get a phone call from somebody representing the #1 country club here in the Houston area, informing me that apparently on the basis of some relationships that I've had with some 1 or 2 of the members or whatever it was, the word got around, I've been named this country club's consulting service of the year. And what this means is entree to all the club events, introductions to all of the members, and you know the kind of people that hang out at country clubs, if you know what I'm talking about. High level individuals. Notice I didn't say high net worth individuals, high level individuals in many cases, and advertising for me and for what I do to the tune of something like, as some of you all know about internet marketing and SEO, to the tune of something like 150,000 impressions, views of my business and what I do over the next year. I figure with 150,000 impressions, I might actually be able to do a little business. So I mention all of this to impress upon someone who's saying, well, what about me? You know, what did I accomplish? You know, these people talking about these big wins. And I'll offer the same suggestion that I offered myself. Just give without thought of return or recompense or scorekeeping, and you'd be absolutely amazed. Now, what I was going to say earlier, how I felt about this, thrilled, honored, not entirely surprised. Not because I'm so great, but because you give, you say it all the time, don't you, John? Like the tides of the sea, without flow, there must inevitably eventually be inflow. And so I'm enjoying a little inflow. And you know what that means? Get your ass back out there and put out some outflow. Put out some more outflow. Back to you, John.
Thank you, brother. Congratulations, Glenn. And you're glowing, man. This is beautiful. We are moving in the right direction. And so thank you all for jumping into the current with this flow that's happening here. We can do a whole lot more as a group than we can just trying to do everything on our own. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up for the day. We do have our hospitality suite, which is opening right now. If you guys got some ideas you want to kick around, sidebar, that's great. And then, of course, we'll see everyone back here for integrative nutrition at 4:30 Eastern, and then Be Heard at 6. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you real soon. Bye for now.